I believe that how government is treating us and how businesses are treating us now is how they've always felt about us. Now they just have moral justification to, be pretty wide open about what those feelings actually are.
When businesses compete, the consumers win.
Yes.
But likewise, when cities compete, people win.
You're going to make a whole new generation of people who've been artificially suppressed, and you'll just have to make it up to them in the future in a strange cycle.
That the more the planners, the Federal Reserve, the government, and the central planners try to fix inequality, the more unequal they actually become. So I saw you posted something about the city of Miami and Francis Suarez and how he's doing his best to really kind of maybe turn that into like a tech hub, into a crypto hub. I want to say a Bitcoin hub. I talked about that on just a recent video. What were your thoughts on that?
It's pretty exciting to see that he's talking about paying city employees with Bitcoin and making it possible to just turn it into an economy that's Bitcoin centered. So that's a pretty great thing for two people that are invested into Bitcoin and its success.
Yeah.
So it would be really great. I'm for the last year, I've had my eye on Florida, watching like Ron DeSantis' response to COVID and how it's compared to somebody like Gavin Newsom here in LA. And it would just be nice to be treated like an adult that can make their own decisions about their risk assessment of things like COVID exposure and my right to earn in Bitcoin and vend in Bitcoin if I want to. So Miami's looking pretty good.
But what I love about that is that they're out competing, right? Like you're not happy where you're living in Los Angeles. Miami sounds like they're doing things that interest you more, and they don't interest everybody, and that's okay, but they interest you more. And so you have the right to go, right? They're out competing your city. And I just think that's a beautiful thing. And we need more of that.
Yeah. Like you've said before, money goes where it's treated best.
Yeah. And people should go where they're treated best.
Yeah. Yeah. And potential money goes where it's treated best. And that's the beauty of a free market, that they work for you that way. It was never supposed to be that we had to take whatever they give us. You know, the last year has shown me that you want to live in states too, where they're purple, where the two parties are volleying for your vote, because that's how you get anything that you actually want. And they actually listen to your concerns, because when it's solidly one direction or the other, they get complacent because they have a monopoly on all the votes.
Yeah. I never heard that purple, but it kind of makes sense. I hate even trying to identify myself with one of the parties, because I can't fully identify with either one of them.
Well, as a free market capitalist, like in the purest sense, you don't even want to be bothered with those types of concepts. You're just looking for, and not to say it in a bad way, but with just the self-interested reasons, like make me want to be here.
But no, but you said not to say that in a bad way, but that's exactly the point, right? So like self-interest, we're all driven by our own selfish self-interest. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
So not that like my selfishness isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like I'm driven by my self-interest, but like in order for me to have a business, in order for me to make money, I have to go provide value. And so for me to provide value, I have to provide something that your self-interest wants.
Well, and I think that's why the left has been pushing collectivism, a more Asian style of understanding that you're a part of a machine rather than you're a machine unto yourself.
But that's a super scary concept.
Yeah, well, if you look at the 2030 agenda, I mean, the destruction of the family unit is a bullet point.
And for BLM.
Yeah, to make the state your family.
Yeah. I mean, so BLM and I mean, and it really comes back all the way back to socialism, right? So that's, Karl Marx, that's his core foundation. And so both BLM says they're trained Marxist, obviously Mao and communism is all socialism as well. But we know that it fails. It's always failed. And a perfect example of it, well, there's a few perfect examples, but one, I mean, just looking at China, for example, where it was a completely communist country, and they realized that they were not going to ever get out of poverty. And so they had to introduce a little bit of free market capitalism. And even just introducing a little bit of that, their nation started exploding. which
Yeah,
is
well, they were so brilliant with their economic entanglement with the Western world because they noticed our propensity to act on our own self-interest.
Yeah. But then even as they were exploding, they still weren't able to outcompete America in creativity. So America was coming up with the most ingenious ideas, the best technology and whatnot. And so they still couldn't do that. And so they've been stealing most of the stuff that we have, but it's because you need that freedom. It's the freedom that creates the creativity, and the creativity
Right.
is what creates, the problem solving and whatnot.
Yeah, why are you going to innovate in a place where you get paid the same whether you do the creation or not? You're just gonna. There was some saying they pretend to pay us and we pretend to work.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. So why would you innovate in that kind of environment? Why would you want to take on more responsibility?
Well, you wouldn't.
What creates that burning desire to innovate is solving problems.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why, back to the self-interest, it's like not a bad thing. Like, it's okay for me. I should be going in on my own self-interest. And that's another thing that, they want to say that, free market capitalism is bad, it's greedy, et cetera. But what they don't understand is that as a business owner, I'm the opposite of greedy. I'm only ever going to make money if I can solve your problem and your need. So like literally all I'm doing is a servant to others, trying to serve other people, trying to solve other people's problems and needs.
Yeah, but that empowers you too much because you're too empowered to solve the problems, and what they want is a captive audience to believe that only government can solve their problems. But government is, of course, the problem creator to begin with.
Yeah.
They don't want to give you an equal opportunity to solve those problems because people will start to catch on as to who's making the problems.
Yeah.